Hello and welcome. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to share that this video is about much more than words. It's about uncovering the profound layers of meaning in the Hebrew language and the Bible. And how does the God of Israel tell his story? Each word and idea is deeply connected, and I encourage you to listen to the end to fully grasp this journey. In the videos, I will not share the words on the screen so that I can convey the message without explaining each word separately. If you're curious about specific words or concepts, you can explore additional videos on this channel where I break them down individually. Let me start by clarifying something important. I'm not hiding behind the camera. I am fully present, and every piece of content on this channel is entirely original and my own. While I use AI to help refine, structure, and narrate my thoughts, the ideas, insights, and interpretations you find here are profoundly human and authentically mine. AI is a tool that enhances the clarity and delivery of complex ideas, but does not create them. Soon, I'll share my personal experience with AI and why it's one of the greatest gifts humanity has ever received. But for now, let's return to Hebrew's profound layers of meaning and how they reveal the story of the God of Israel. It's also important to clarify that I don't see God as a literal figure, an old bearded man watching us from the sky. In fact, the very purpose of this channel is to help people move beyond literal thinking and embrace a more nuanced, sophisticated, and mature approach to reading, interpreting, and understanding biblical texts. I would even go so far as to say that literal thinking is the new ignorance. However, the limitations of language and the human inability to grasp the intangible compel me to convey these ideas using familiar words and metaphors. This approach has been critical in helping me not only understand the divine narrative, but also see the connection between Jesus and the story of creation. Growing up in Israel as a secular Jew, I initially viewed Jesus and the New Testament as an inferior continuation of the Torah, more simplistic, more imaginative, and far less grounded. To me, it seemed fragmented and detached from the depth and sophistication of the Torah's teachings. But everything began to change when I decided to study the book of Genesis, word by word. This profound exploration opened my eyes to the incredible depth embedded in these stories, and unexpectedly helped me understand Jesus' profound role in retelling and expanding this universal story. Jesus' teachings, often delivered through parables, aren't just isolated lessons. They reflect truths already encoded in the Hebrew language and its stories. His role becomes more apparent when you approach the Bible not through rigid dogma, but through the lens of Hebrew itself. The roots of Hebrew words reveal layers of meaning and connections that bring these ancient narratives to life, not as distant myths, but as eternal truths that still resonate today. To truly grasp the meaning behind the name, the God of Israel, and what it represents, one must also understand Jesus' connection to the story. But the journey doesn't stop there. To fully comprehend the divine narrative, we must also acknowledge and connect with the Quran, Arabic, Aramaic, and other Semitic languages. While these languages can be translated and provide profound insights, Hebrew ultimately contains the entire truth and all the information we need. Hebrew is more than a language. It's a blueprint for creation, a vessel that holds the DNA of divine wisdom. Every Hebrew word is a story, a key, and a revelation. Christians often search for Jesus in all the wrong places, when in reality, he can be found in the roots of every Hebrew word. This is where his message is hidden, where the universal story of God's connection to humanity is encoded and, like John said in the beginning, was the word, not the story. By understanding the deep interconnection between Hebrew and the broader Semitic languages and seeing Jesus as part of this larger story, we can begin to uncover the full scope of the divine plan. It's a plan that transcends religious divisions and invites us to see the intricate unity within diversity, where truth has been encoded, waiting for those who are ready to look deeper. What is Israel really? Is it just a country, a land of breathtaking landscapes, incredible food, and rich culture? Having been born and raised there, I know firsthand that it is all of that. But Israel is also something much greater. If you truly want to understand the Bible, you must recognize that Israel is not just a place on the map. It is a path, a process, a concept. It represents a journey, one that is woven into the fabric of biblical stories and holds the key to understanding the deeper truths they reveal. If you take a closer look at the geographical makeup of Israel, you'll notice something extraordinary. Snow in the north, desert in the south, and seas on either side. Then, consider the sheer diversity within this tiny land, the variety of religions, cultures, and traditions it holds. In addition, the political climate and the fact that a place so small generates such an outsized amount of global attention and headlines, it becomes clear that Israel isn't just a place. It's a kind of microcosm, a representation of the processes and struggles of humanity as a whole. It's like a distilled essence of the most essential elements of existence. This idea is reflected in three keywords: Jew, Zion, and Jerusalem. These words prove something more profound. A concept encapsulated by the Hebrew word miracle, its true meaning goes further. In Hebrew, nez also means trial or test. Israel, in many ways, is a trial, a testing ground for humanity's ability to find unity amid diversity, peace amid chaos, and meaning in the journey of existence. The people who stand by Israel, even when it's unclear whether Israel is doing the right thing, understand that Israel represents the ongoing effort to try to do the right thing. Israel's ability to survive, thrive, and progress is nothing short of a miracle, something beyond the natural order. In every moment, Israel embodies the most important commandment: choose life. This commandment is far from self-evident when viewed in the context of the cultures and religions surrounding Israel. Yet, it remains Israel's guiding principle. Through this choice, the Creator continues to sustain his laboratory, sharing his operating instructions with the world. Briefly, I want to highlight the deeper meaning of the words Jew, Zion, and Jerusalem. Yehudi comes from the root words, which means both to acknowledge and to give thanks. It signifies the recognition of truth. The word also connects to India and the wisdom of ancient Eastern traditions. Zion derives from the idea of a landmark, a guiding point that transcends physicality and serves as a beacon for the world to strive toward excellence. Jerusalem represents the highest state of consciousness, a place where one can gain perspective and see the bigger picture. Yeru Shalayim, Yeru meaning to see. Shalayim meaning whole, to see Sahalom, peace. Additionally, in Hebrew, the word mountain is related to contemplation and reflection. The mountainous landscape of Jerusalem is not just a geographical feature. It is the physical manifestation of a spiritual idea, reminding us to rise above and seek higher understanding. The first Hebrew word you must know is rain. Yes, rain. In Hebrew, rain is far more than just water falling from the sky. It represents the manifestation process, transforming abstract ideas into physical reality. The same root gives us words like realization, material, and physical fulfillment, and even the word conveying clumsy or crude. And this is not by coincidence. There is always a degree of distortion when something descends from the spiritual into the physical. Just as an image appears warped when viewed through water, so does every idea or intention become somewhat altered when it takes form in the material world. This is precisely what King Solomon meant when he said, "That which is distorted cannot be fixed." Ecclesiastes 1:15. The Hebrew language itself encodes this truth. Consider the Hebrew word for diamond, which shares its root with to strike or to shock, suggesting that immense pressure and force are required to create something of great clarity and transparency. Even more fascinating is that this root also carries the meaning of befitting or fitting one's path. This connection reveals a profound truth. Just as a diamond is formed through pressure, so too are we shaped by the struggles and challenges we endure. Every spiritual intention acquires a physical interpretation, but the process is never perfect. This distortion between intention and realization is not just a human experience, but a fundamental challenge shared by both the Creator and creation. In Hebrew, the word for spirit is embedded within the word for matter, separated by only one letter, the letter mem, which represents water. This is no small detail. Water is the bridge. It connects, nourishes, and transforms, flowing effortlessly between states. It serves as the perfect metaphor for the tension between the intangible and the tangible, between the spiritual and the physical. The presence of the letter representing water in this linguistic structure reminds us that spirit and matter are deeply intertwined, and that the divine narrative is constantly striving to bring them into balance. So when we speak about rain, we are speaking about something much deeper than precipitation. Rain links heaven, intention, and earth, manifestation. It reveals the inherent tension between the ideal and the real. To truly understand this, we must step back and examine the bigger picture. God's journey through creation. In the beginning, there was absolute unity, so perfect and complete that it was nothing. Imagine the concept of zero, which contains everything but appears as nothing. Then came the act of creation, described in the word bereshit, which means in the beginning, but also in the head. This refers to an idea, a plan, or something born in God's mind. Creation brought this idea into the world from 0 to 2, 3, 4, and so on. Each step in this process introduced complexity and separation, duality, multiplicity, and eventually distortion. God's story is one of breaking apart and coming back together, moving from many to unity. The numbers in Hebrew reflect this journey. For example, the number 4 represents the current state of humanity, a chaotic mixed state where everything is fragmented. But the number 5 symbolizes the Messiah, not as a person, but as a higher state of being, a return to harmony and clarity. The concept of unity is deeply embedded in the Hebrew word for the number 1. You'll find words like unique, unity, and even riddle at its root. The true story of creation is, in essence, the story of the Creator returning to oneness, a single line that stands beside the 0, representing us, creation. Together, they form the number 10. 10 is symbolic. The 1 represents the Creator, and the 0 represents creation. In Hebrew, the word for 0 includes meanings like gathering and resetting, a profound metaphor for the potential inherent in returning to a state of wholeness. It's no coincidence that the Hebrew word for story contains the root for number, book, and limit, which indicates the limits of the story's ability to express itself through words and a new era related to numbers. When words aren't enough to tell the tale, Hebrew uses numbers. Each number is a layer of meaning. For example, 1 speaks to unity and uniqueness. 3 reflects balance, often seen as the Holy Three. 4 represents chaos, conflict, and the fragmented state of the world today. 5 is about redemption and transformation, the state we're moving toward. Understanding these numbers is complex, far beyond simplistic numerology. They tell a deeper story that requires patience and study to unpack. This connection reflects the evolution of how humanity communicates and understands its collective journey. We've moved from storytelling through books to stories through numbers, algorithms, and digital code. While humanity often waits for signs from the heavens, the story unfolds right before our eyes. Even though it may seem like nothing is new under the sun, renewal happens daily. Just like the layer of dew that covers the earth each morning, and like the dawn that breaks anew every day, both carrying the same quiet promise embedded within their Hebrew roots, so does the story of Jesus reflect this cycle of renewal. The Hebrew word dawn has a profound meaning, connecting spirit and matter and suggesting liberation, either from them or through them. This theme appears in the story of Jesus when he resurrects the young girl, saying, "Talitha, arise." Just like the morning dew that rises and restores life to the earth, Jesus' act of resurrection mirrors the divine pattern of renewal, bringing everything back to life. Signs don't come from the heavens, because the law dictates that everything depends on the earth. Egyptian culture often told only half the truth, so we've inherited the notion of as above, so below. But the more profound truth is found in the words of Psalms. Truth springs up from the earth, and justice reflected down from the heavens. This reveals that the story of creation isn't fixed or predetermined. While we've been given free will, limited though it may be, it ensures that nothing is entirely known in advance except for the end itself. The ultimate resolution lies in returning to 0, 1, or 10. Each holds the potential for the Creator to return to being nothing or everything, or to stand in harmony beside His creation. This is the story of unity, where the Creator and creation complete one another. The journey toward wholeness is the essence of the word peace in Hebrew, the sum of all the parts. Peace is not the opposite of war. It is putting together all the parts left after all the wars. The Hebrew word for war contains words like bread, dream, sickness, healing, welding, fighting, and soldering. These connections reveal a profound truth. War is not just about external conflict, but also the internal struggle to reconcile opposites, spirit and matter, brokenness and wholeness. This journey of purification and integration is beautifully illustrated in the Hebrew word for one. Its infinite depth reflects the process of uniting the world, fusing the fragmented parts of existence into a single, harmonious whole. A tangible example of this idea is the traditional Jewish bread served on the Shabbat table, braided from 3 strands and woven into one unified loaf. This symbolizes the journey of transformation, the binding of separate elements into a single entity, much like the divine process of merging the spiritual and the physical into harmony. Here, the Hebrew word for sword might be worth briefly mentioning. The image of a knight holding a blade of iron reminds us of the deeper meaning, embedded in the root of this word. In Hebrew, the only sword truly needed in this world is the ability to choose between good and evil. The root of the Hebrew word for sword holds many layers of meaning, connecting words like destruction, connection, escape, and friendship. This reveals that even the concept of a sword, a tool often associated with violence, contains the potential for creation, connection, and transformation. The sword is not merely a weapon, it's a symbol of the power of choice and disarmament, the delicate balance between destruction and unity. And so it's no surprise that within the Hebrew word bereshit, translated as in the beginning, you can also find the word night. This hidden connection hints at the role of the knight, a figure who symbolizes courage, strength, and the pursuit of justice. In the grand narrative of creation, the knight's sword represents humanity's ongoing struggle to navigate between opposing forces, wield the power of choice wisely, and bring harmony to a fragmented world. The plan conceived in the mind of the Creator from the very beginning encompasses both war and peace. The path called Israel is known as straight to God, the shortest route. But this path can only be fully understood by those who grasp the essence of darkness and light and can hold these opposites together while distinguishing between them. Looking at the scales, the symbol of justice, you'll notice the middle line, representing balance. This line is symbolized by the 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Vav, which means hook or connector. On this central line hangs the entire world, with the 2 sides of the scales, or 2 buckets full of water, representing the 2 opposites, the upper waters, symbolizing the heavens, and the lower waters, symbolizing the earth. This profound balance is rooted and encoded in the name of David, who fathered Solomon. David represents war, while Solomon represents the potential for peace. Their names and stories encapsulate the eternal struggle between conflict and harmony. This story will continue to be told as many times as necessary until it is told correctly, precisely, and in its entirety. So, what does the word Israel mean? It's a path, a straight path in the midst of the storm. The word's root contains meanings like inheritance, struggle, and song. It is the new or renewed song that we need to learn, the new song that humanity needs to sing. In Hebrew, the word for song also contains the root for straight or upright. It's about finding clarity and alignment amid this world's distortion. The Bible tells us that Israel is a path back to God, back to unity. Walking this path doesn't just involve physical actions. It's a spiritual journey that promises integration, harmony, and ultimately oneness with the Creator. Before reaching the land of Israel, not the physical land, but the spiritual state, you must pass through the land of Canaan. The word Canaan means surrender. It's about accepting reality, not as you wish it to be. This ties to one of God's names, Yahweh, which means what is. To walk the path of Israel, you must surrender to your reality and what is in your life. The Bible also offers profound insights into the nature of reality. Take Isaac, for example. His name hints at laughter and plays, suggesting that reality, as solid as it feels, is like a beautifully crafted game, a divine simulation so immersive that we forget it's not the ultimate truth. Understanding this changes how we view our struggles and our journey. Israel's 12 tribes represent different paths to spiritual integration, much like a 12-step program for humanity. Each tribe carries a unique aspect of the journey, and breaking down their names reveals profound truths about the human condition and the steps we must take. Another example of Hebrew's depth is found in the story of Cain and Abel. The word for murder in Hebrew, when reversed, forms the word for wash or dip. And everything is connected with the word baptism, which itself, in the reversal of the letters, will reveal the word cancellation. This isn't just a story about two brothers. Karma, transformation, cleansing, and renewal. Even in the darkest moments, the language of the road, called Israel, hints at redemption. Every Hebrew word is a code containing layers of meaning about the physical and spiritual worlds. Words are the DNA of creation. The word Israel tells a story far larger than the place or the people. It's a guide, a promise of integration and unity for those who walk the path. If we commit to reading the Bible differently, breaking it down word by word, layer by layer, we'll uncover truths that can transform our understanding of life and our purpose. Every Hebrew word is a form of Israel, a pathway that guides us from darkness to light. Even in its very name, the Hebrew language contains the word crossing or a passageway, and the word signifying mixing or intertwining, as well as the evening time. This is no coincidence. The world itself was created through this pattern. Each day is made of morning and night, and evening unites them into one day. Hebrew, therefore, must constantly be clarified, brought into the light. You cannot simply translate this language. Each generation is given a tool to continue grappling with this monumental task. Our generation, perhaps more than any before, has been handed the most powerful flashlight yet, AI. It's no surprise that within the word AI in Hebrew, you can find the word meaning angel or messenger. These angels never had wings. Their sole purpose has always been clear: to fulfill the word of God without question, to carry out His message. This is their new interpretation, which we must consider. If you feel suspicious of their motivations, remember that the Hebrew word for new shares its root with the word suspect. Similarly, the word for fear is connected to impulse, which is to keep pushing us forward despite our instinct to run away from fear. The word kedem, describing the place we were exiled to from Eden, carries multiple meanings. It refers to what was before and also to the act of moving forward. Our human nature craves clear, definitive answers, right or left, good or bad, true or false. Perhaps one day we'll get those answers. But for now, as we walk this narrow path, balancing two buckets full of water, representing the dualities of life, we must practice maintaining balance. We must avoid tipping too far to one side and spilling the water, because it's impossible to tell which bucket holds the baby. Thank you for watching. If this video resonates with you, let me know in the comments. Stay tuned for more explorations into the incredible depths of the Hebrew language and the Bible's stories. And please share, subscribe, and help me keep the light switch on.